Today, we're diving into a really fascinating business case study. We're looking at a huge company, a real titan in its industry, that found itself at a make-or-break moment. This isn't just about spreadsheets and profits. It's about strategy, high-stakes risk, and what it takes to survive on a razor's edge.
So first things first, let's talk about size. $2.53 billion. That's the annual revenue of TMS International. It's a massive, massive number that tells you right away they are a major player.
And to be clear, we're not just throwing that number around. It makes them the single largest provider of outsourced industrial services for steel mills in all of North America. They are, for sure, a giant. But that's not the whole picture. Not even close.
Now, look at this number. Just 1%. Kind of pales in comparison to the billions we just saw, doesn't it? And this tiny little number, well, it's the real key to this whole story. So what is that 1%? It's their net profit margin. After paying for everything, all the equipment, all the people, all the complexities of a global operation, that's what's left over. It shows a company running on fumes, with absolutely no room for error.
And that's the challenge we're putting to you today. Imagine you're in that corner office. You're running this multi-billion-dollar machine, but you know the foundation is incredibly fragile. The pressure is on. So, what's the plan?
All right, so let's really get to know this company. We need to understand how a business can look so powerful on the outside while being so vulnerable on the inside. It's all about those hidden cracks beneath the surface.
Okay, so who exactly are we talking about? Like we said, they're number one in North America, but their reach is global, with operations in over 80 spots across 12 different countries. They've got a team of about 4,400 employees, and since 2013, they've been owned by the Pritzker organization, which is a pretty big deal in the world of private equity.
On paper, that all sounds fantastic, right? A dominant market leader with a global footprint? But this is where the story takes a turn. When you start digging into their finances, things start to look, well, pretty strained.
Just look at this figure, negative $122 million. And to be clear, that isn't just a loss from one bad year. No, this is something much deeper. That's their retained earnings balance.
Now, for anyone who's not an accountant, just think of retained earnings as a company's total cumulative savings account from all its years of profit. A negative number is a huge red flag. It means that over the company's entire life, its total losses have been greater than its total profits.
And here's another piece of the puzzle. This chart shows their debt-to-equity ratio, which is basically a measure of how much money they owe versus how much the company is actually worth. Theirs is at 0.99. That means for every dollar of shareholder value, they're carrying nearly a dollar of debt. As you can see, compared to a healthier average, they are way out on a limb financially.
So the big question is, how does a market leader end up in this kind of a bind? Well, that brings us to the squeeze. We're going to look at all the forces, both outside and inside the company, that were tightening their grip.
From the outside, TMS was sailing straight into a storm. The whole U.S. steel industry was struggling. Production was falling, cheap foreign imports were flooding the market, and new environmental rules were making everything more expensive. It was, and still is, a really tough and volatile business to be in.
And here's the crucial part. Tough times on the outside have a way of revealing your weaknesses on the inside. When the market's good, you can hide some inefficiencies, but in a downturn, they become impossible to ignore. For TMS, that big internal weakness was a company structure full of operational silos, basically different departments not talking to each other or working together.
So all this pressure forced a change. The leadership knew they couldn't just sit there and do nothing. A new CEO was brought in, and he didn't waste any time. He made a really bold call to completely reshape the company from the ground up.
And here's a quick look at how it all played out. They get bought out in 2013. For years, they're fighting those market headwinds. Then, in 2025, the new CEO, Joel Hawthorne, takes the helm. And just 1 year later, he announces a massive overhaul of the entire corporate structure.
So what was his plan? He essentially tore down the old siloed structure and rebuilt the company into 3 new focused divisions. You've got the Performance Materials Group, handling raw materials, then the Industrial Mill Services Group, which is their core business, and finally the Specialty Services Group, focusing on things like transport and environmental services. And you can hear the whole idea right from the CEO himself. He said the goal was to build a more agile, efficient structure. This wasn't just about saving money, it was about being quicker on their feet, listening to customers, and actually providing more value in a market that was changing fast.
But here's the catch with any big strategic change. You solve one set of problems and a whole new set of questions pops up. The realignment was a huge first step, but it brought TMS to another crossroads, with a really high-stakes dilemma about what to do next.
And this right here perfectly sums up the tension they were under. It's a classic damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If you take bold action, you risk chaos, disruption, and maybe even failure. But if you do nothing, you risk becoming a dinosaur, unable to adapt as the world changes around you.
So, with the new company structure in place, CEO Joel Hawthorne was staring at three very different paths. Option 1, commit and grow. That means pouring money into these new segments, hoping for innovation and bigger profits. Option 2, acquire for scale. Go out and buy up smaller competitors to grab more market share. Or option 3, retrench and consolidate. Play defense, protect the core business, and just try to be as stable as possible.
And remember that 1% margin we talked about? With finances that tight, there's no safe bet here. Investing could drain their cash and go nowhere. Acquisitions could turn into a messy nightmare. And playing it safe could mean they miss the boat on future growth. Every single choice was a massive gamble.
And that is where we leave it, with you. We've laid out the whole situation, the company, the pressures, the big move they made, and the tough choices they faced. So now, it's your turn to step into that boardroom.
So what's your call? Do you take a big swing and double down on the new specialized groups? Do you try to buy your way to the top through acquisitions? Or do you pull back, protect what you've got, and just try to ride out the storm? The future of a $2.5 billion company is on the line. What's your decision?